Hey there, Erin from Morehouse Farm here, and today we are going to do the knit two together and knit two together through the back loop decreases on the thumbs of our grown together mittens. Now, one thing you'll notice right away, because I made such a big deal of getting rid of all the markers, is that I added one back. It's a quiet one though, and the reason that I did that was as I knit these thumb decreases, I thought it would be much handier because you're going back and forth so many times rather than having to reposition the needles. What if I was able to have a bunch of stitches on the two shafts pointed at each other so that I didn't have to worry about that? So what I did was I slid the needles out and I pushed everything down onto the cord. Now, that means the two halves of my thumb on the other end that I'm not working yet, excuse the dog hair, are running together. So I could come back and remember, oh yeah, I did an SSK and then I knit two and then I did a knit two together on this side, and I could just split the two knit stitches, but now I can be lazy. I can just refer to where my marker is when I come back around. Okay, but on this side, what I've got here is I knit to 3 stitches before the end of the work. So those are my 3 stitches. Looks like I got both needles caught in that one. And here is where I want to know that things end. So I might choose to position a marker there if I like. I could just maybe grab this bobby pin that's holding my tail together. Oh, by the way, several of you have emailed me to ask me, do I need the tail? And since the pattern hasn't said get rid of it yet, I would keep it. And if you want to jump ahead, read page 10, I think you'll find you're going to want it. So leave it where it is. Okay, so I was back to here marking just the end of each round, just so that I have a reference point for you to follow. And what we're gonna do here is we're gonna decrease, 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 and we're gonna end up basically stitching them together along the top here. But along the way, we're gonna learn a couple of new techniques and why. And the first one is, I'm just gonna pull out a few stitches on this side, maybe 8 or 10, and I'm going to pull my cord out so that my needle shaft is ready to work. And I'm going to do the same on the other side. I'll probably need to reposition them based on how many I need to knit here for the decreases, but this will get me started without too much agita. So see how now I've got them here and ready to work? All right, let's get going. So this first stitch I've got with both needles in it, I'm going to come up to, and we want to knit 2 together through the back loop. So remember, we usually grab this leg on the right, no matter which way it's positioned, and put the needle in the hole. But because we want to twist it in this case, that's what knit through the back loop means. So instead of going this direction, you're going to twist it, put your needle in this way. See how those legs cross over each other? That's what we want in this case only. And we're going to knit those 2 together through the back loop. Okay, that's decrease in this direction. Then we're going to knit 1, then we're going to slip 1, and then we're going to knit 2 together. So mirroring our increases, we're now decreasing with decrease, 2 center stitches, and a decrease on the other side. Now, we're supposed to turn the work around. We're supposed to slip 1, purl 1, and then slip 3. Okay, then turn and do that again. So there's an awful lot of turning here. And if you read the footnote at the bottom of this page, she gives a really cool idea. It's mind-blowing, it's so simple, but on the other hand, getting it to work is not so easy. So bear with me. If you feel like you want to give yourself a challenge, this is a fantastic one. And it's what my little video from last night was all about. So first we're going to knit 2 together through the back loop, which means I got to grab these 2 purple ones. And if it's tight, that's okay. That means it'll be no loops or no loose stitches. And because the yarn is coming from right back here, you may need to anchor it around a finger or something just to give yourself something to pull against so that you can get it through. Now, if you did that, don't forget to snug it up just to make sure that you don't have any holes there. See, I'm bringing that nice and close. Okay, and then we need to knit 1, then we need to slip 1, and then we need to knit 2 together, regularly. Here we go. So what was so brilliant about this part is if a purl, when we turn around knitting this way or working this way, is really just a knit on the other side, what if we just went this way and knit that stitch going this direction? And that's where it gets a little tricky. So first one, we were gonna slip. Second one, we need to knit, but how does that work exactly? Well, if you know how to backwards knit pretty darn easily. Now, I've been working on this all day so that I could make that little video and show you. Here we go. So instead of putting our working needle on the right side behind the left, we're gonna put the left behind the right. So it's a mirror image, and yes, it's gonna feel awkward. I got it, anything new is, but that means if you're uncomfortable, you're growing, okay? So wrap the yarn around and then pull the old stitch off. Right, it's exactly the same as what we're used to. It's just a different direction. So then we need to slip our 3, 2, 3, and we're ready to start again. So I've decreased now 2 different times. Okay, so here goes. We're gonna knit these 2 together through the back loop on this side. Okay, make sure you pull that one nice and snug. We're going to knit 1, we're gonna slip 1, and then we're gonna knit 2 together. Okay, so we're evenly decreasing on both sides. And now, here's where it comes again. Ready? We're gonna slip 1, and then we're gonna knit 1 backwards, which is left needle behind right, wrap the yarn around, and pull the old stitch off and over. It's so tricky to learn to do something a new way that you have to kind of re-engage and make new synaptic pathways that are just operating on autopilot. But boy, was that rewarding, because look at what I've got now. I've got even decreases that mirror my even increases, and they go right around both sides of that thumb. Isn't that cool? So today I want you to tackle one thumb. Whether you try to knit backwards or not, that's totally up to you. Remember, there's lots of different ways that we can do things. I want you to be experimental and try them, because you never know if you're gonna like one. I can hear my parents and my grandparents saying that about trying new foods, right? At the same time, but it's true. I never would have thought to knit backwards, but I learned a whole new skill today. It was well worth the time and effort, because I can think of lots of places where I'm gonna use that and not have to turn my work now. All right, happy knitting. Don't forget to post a picture below when you're done with today's work.